Okay. Spec analysis has revealed the existence of frozen nitrogen, methane, and carbon monoxide on the surface of Pluto. Okay, so this analysis has showed us that we have these three things on Pluto. Such ices have a tendency to vaporize, producing an atmosphere. Okay, since the proportion of any gas in such an atmosphere depends directly on readily and corresponding ice vaporizes. What? So if any gas in such an atmosphere depends directly on how readily the corresponding ice vaporizes, astronomers have concluded that the components of Pluto's atmosphere are nitrogen, carbon, and methane in order of decreasing abundance. That's stupid. This is going to make me think. So that's what I would say on the test too, completely. I'd be like, all right, so we're saying that the components of Pluto's atmosphere are these in decreasing order. So I'm like, okay, my first thought is like, okay, so decreasing order. So we're saying that there's more nitrogen and then carbon and then methane. And I'm like, okay, so why do we think that these are in decreasing order? Okay, because the proportion of gas depends directly on how readily the corresponding ice vaporizes. All right, so such ice, because these are ices and they have a tendency to, so these are, okay. How readily gas in the atmosphere depends, okay, so readily. So these, so I'm thinking that the nitrogen must have vaporized more. Right, okay, cool. So go ahead and go, okay, so is that, are you at the same spot? Is that what you're picking up on? Maybe you even got to that faster than I did. Sometimes on science ones, I have to like help myself, like.
No, that's exactly where I kind of got to.
Okay, cool. And like, this is a great one where a lot of people would freak out about this and just like go into the answer choices. But because we took more time, I bet this is going to be a lot more easy, or a lot easier for us to work through these answer choices than previously. Because like, I feel like I actually understand the stimulus now and what we're trying to get at.
Yeah, the fact that, you know, the ice vaporizing, how fast ice vaporizes on Pluto, it depends on the abundance of this gas present on Pluto. Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and start with A and tell me you love it, like it, leave it, or hate it.
So there's no more frozen nitrogen on the surface of Pluto than there is either. So hold on, there's no more frozen nitrogen on the surface of Pluto than there is either frozen carbon monoxide or methane. Well, I think because we're worried about vaporization, not frozen. You know
right,
what I
that's
mean?
why I was actually thinking, like, I want to leave this one, but I'm leaning towards crossing it off because I'm thinking we're trying to say that there's more nitrogen in the air, like in the atmosphere. So I don't think that we care that even if there is more frozen nitrogen, we just need more nitrogen to also be in the air. But I'm like, maybe we're assuming that, because we're not even saying that there's the same amount. So I really don't like A, but I don't understand the stimulus well enough to cross it off.
Crossing it out. Yeah, I agree. So until space probes reach Pluto, direct analysis of the atmosphere is unknown. That's totally out.
Awesome.
There is no frozen substance on the surface of Pluto that vaporizes more readily than methane, but less readily than carbon monoxide. So it's like a substance that's in the middle of them.
Yeah, I feel like this has to be the answer because more readily than methane, but less than carbon. So it would have to be here. And I think we're saying that only these three, right?
Yeah, because
so I would cross A off at this point and leave C, leaning to definitely towards C.
Yeah. Nitrogen is found in the atmosphere of a planet only if nitrogen ice is found on the surface of the planet. That's not.
Yeah, we don't care about other planets. We're just talking about Pluto.
A mixture of nitrogen, carbon monoxide, and methane is characteristics of the substance from which the solar system. We don't care about what the solar system is formed from.
So it definitely has to be C.
But it's so weird because it's like, wait a second. I guess you have to be like content with those three being the only gases.
Because it says that the components, it does say concluded that the components of Pluto's atmosphere are these three things. So I guess like they did conclude that.
And the argument would fall apart if there was another substance in between, because then they
Yeah.
would be the only ones. Yeah.
I think they say they concluded that it is these three things. They don't conclude that it's these three things plus other things. It's these three things. So I think that I would be okay with that. Fabulous.